viewers, I'm Jason.
I'm Julie.
And today on Dice and Dragons, we are going to be reviewing Rolling Realms, published by Stonemaier Games and designed by Jamey Stegmaier. Now I'm going to toss it over to Julie, who will tell you more about the game itself.
So this is a competitive roll and write game that is intended for ages 14 and above. It plays 1 to 6 players in about 30 minutes. Now, I'd just like to mention that this is a review copy, so we'd like to thank Stonemaier Games for thinking of us for the review copy. But Jason, what do we want to remind our viewers?
Our opinions are our own. There's a lot of O's there. I always have to make sure that I enunciate.
That's why I normally say it.
Oh, yes, that's exactly what you normally say. So what will you be doing in Rolling Realms? Well, you're going to be rolling, already rolled, see, some dice, and you will be then using the values on the dice in these different realms. There are 9 total realms. Each realm is based on a Stonemaier game, so you're going to need to use your dice as efficiently as possible, as well as gain resources to trigger extra effects as you try to score the most stars and be the player with the most stars at the end of all 3 rounds. Now, each round is divided up into 9 turns. That may sound like a lot, but it plays rather quickly. So, anything else, Julie?
I think you got it covered.
All right, so now what are we going to do?
We're going to grab our drink.
Grab our best friend.
And we're going to take it to the table one more time.
One more time? I need to,
You need to beat me once?
Once at least. Yes, please. Now we're going to take a quick look at the components for Rolling Realms. Now, as I do have some things that may move around, I'm going to take a look at those 2 things first before going through the rule book. So you will be getting some dry erase markers. Now, I only included 1 on camera. You actually do get a pack of them. As Julie and I have been playing the game, 1 of them is missing, so you will have 6, 1 for every player. Now, up in the corner here, you have these wipes to wipe down your card. I just left them in the plastic wrap at the top here because they are just a little bit more visible. And like the markers, you're going to get a total of 6 of them. Now, for Rolling Realms, you do get a rule book and then some other things for the solo mode. Now, the rules are rather straightforward. They're only on page 2 and 3. Then you get some realm by realm examples for all the different realms, and then an explanation of the end game scoring and the resources. So you're looking at really just a 7-page rulebook. It's quite easy to get through. Now, this is the mini golf card. This is for the solo mode, and you just got a few things you can mark on the back. I have not taken a look at the solo mode and how to play this game solo yet, so haven't done anything with this and can't really comment on it. That's the course log, and then here is the solitaire mini golf rulebook, which, as you can see, it's got different holes and different rules for every hole as you play a game of mini golf and try to accomplish your objective, which I believe is to get the best score. Now, is it like golf and you're going for the lowest, or is it a different version of golf and you need the highest? I'm not sure. I haven't gone through that yet. You have these 18 cards for the solo mode, and these 18 cards represent each of the different holes. I'm not sure why hole 17 was backwards there, but you get the idea. Well, we also are missing a hole 16. So we got 1. We don't actually have cards for all of the holes. So let's actually just double check and take a look here. So there are some details here and lists for the different holes, like resourceful. So you do have rules also in there, but some specific things are done on these cards for the solo mode. So you get an idea as to what you're going to be doing with that. Of course, 2 big 6-sided dice. This is a roll and write game. You'll be rolling d6s. Now, we're going to take a look at the back of these cards first, just to show you what you've got. You've got a set of Rolling Realm cards in 6 different colors. They are all identical. The color doesn't even really mean all that much. You're never going to really be seeing it. It's just to let you sort all the cards and keep things separate and easy to get to the table. Now, what you're going to get, we'll take a look at the front face of the green cards. You get a realm. Each realm represents a different game from the Stonemaier game collection. So they each have their own rules as how you'll be scoring. So Wingspan, this Society for Red Rising, Between Two Castles for Between Two Castles of My King Ludwig. Size is obvious. You've got Tapestry as well, Charterstone, Pendulum, Euphoria, Viticulture, Between Two Cities, My Little Scythe. And then here what you have are your tracking card to keep track of the die rolls, as well as your score, the amount of stars you get at the end of each round. And then here you've got your resource card that you can be using to track your resources. So there you have it. You've now seen all of the components for Rolling Realms. Now keep it right here, as Julie and I will be coming back at you with our review of the game. So Julie, what did you think of Rolling Realms, your first roll and write game?
Yeah, you kept saying roll and write. I'm like, I don't know what you mean, but okay.
Well, you roll dice.
And you're right. Yes, it's as simple as that. And it's funny, I knew nothing about the game when we started playing, and Jason put the cards in front of me, and I sat down and I went, oh, it's all their games. Yeah, so much I know. So, I mean, I liked that. I thought that was pretty neat. And I like the way the components work. I mean, it's very easy to write, and they clean off very well, and it's good quality material. I would say that. I'd also say that it's fairly quick to learn. I mean, I think the first time we played, it took us a little longer than 30 minutes because we were trying to figure out the different rules of the game.
Yeah, I will say that the way...
Of the realms, I should say, not of the game.
Yeah, the game itself, very straightforward. The writing of the rules for the realms I found to be a little clunky. I myself, going through the rule book, I was like, do I quite get how some of these ones work? Charterstone was a little tricky, and I think it caught us both off guard, and we didn't score on it a few times as well as we would have liked. I actually went and took a look at the Watch It Played video, and one of the reasons why I didn't do a how to play for this is because there are 9 different realms. I suggest you go check that out if you really want to have a nice detailed explanation and examples as to how to use all of them. But so Rodney, you helped us out. It was very useful.
So I mean, I have a couple realms that I prefer more than others. Charterstones is not one of my favorite. I have to say, I mean, the art, there's not much to it, and it feels like it, I would have liked to see a little bit more wingspan-esque. You know, I mean, it's beautiful, it's behind you. This was definitely not the case with this game.
The art is by Mike Bensky, and I'm reading the back of the box, I'm not and Marius Petrescu, and I think they did a good job with, like, the new art for the game. But just to add a little bit into, just to clarify why they don't have the nicest art, is Jamey Stegmaier started designing this game as something that could be played digitally. It was completely free to play, so remote play was a big focus behind designing the game. It was actually only went into design at the start of the pandemic. So we're talking about March 2020, and due to demand, he's created a full production copy of the game. So if you're taking a look at that production window, when you're thinking about how it went from conception, different iterations that was largely done with the Stonemaier Games community, and then to get it to production, that's a relatively short time. We're talking about a 15-month window, which means, take a month or two for travel and fulfillment. This has been done for only a couple months in this format.
I mean, I don't hate it. I'm just saying it's blah. It's not.
Yeah, no, I'm not denying that. I mean, if you take a look at the cards, I'll use one that's clean like Charterstone. You can't quite see it, but it's like faded art for the box. And while it looks okay, it just doesn't quite come through. And I get why they have to keep the spaces nice and clean to be able to be written on. It definitely doesn't hold a candle to what we're used to seeing with Stonemaier Games. Red Rising, Wingspan, Between Two Castles, all those are beautiful, fantastic games when it comes to table presence.
So, I mean, like I said, a definite advantages are it's a very quick game, it's very easy to play, and I mean, for me, it was just an easy game that doesn't, it's not a brain burner. It helps that, I won every single game against you, but doesn't help in the sense that I don't think you enjoyed this quite as much as I did.
No, I definitely did not enjoy this quite as much as you did. This is not my first roll and write. I think my first roll and write might have been Yahtzee, but I mean, you're literally rolling and writing.
Okay,
and
then this is not my first roll and write either, because I played a lot of Yahtzee in my life.
Well, I was being sarcastic there a little bit with Yahtzee because you don't really use that much strategy. But I guess technically it is the first roll and write. This is definitely our first one together, but I've also played Welcome 2, and I didn't really enjoy my plays of Welcome 2. I just don't think I like roll and write games. I know there's a lot of them coming out now. They're a big trend, largely thanks to Welcome 2. And just a little bit of background of that one, you're rolling dice and you're building neighborhood and like building houses. So you're just drawing little walls. This one I prefer much more than Welcome 2 because there's a lot of variety, and I gotta say that Rolling Realms succeeds very much at what it's trying to do. I just don't think this is necessarily the type of game that I want to play. I don't know if it's going to need to leave the collection because of the production value and everything behind it. It does make for a fantastic filler game, just knowing that I'm going to be asking to play regularly on weeknights. So what I really liked about the game, I mentioned variety. Each realm feels different. Everything that you're doing with the numbers is going to change. And some realms will actually synergize better together than others. So that means, well, you might be able to score almost max points when you get some realms together. Other realms will be like, wow, I'm just struggling to get a solid 9 points, 9 stars to go into the next round. So I really like the challenge of that. And I think that the game does a great job of packing a lot of variety into a very tiny box. As Julie mentioned, the components are fantastic. The markers work very well. They're easily replaced. If you actually want to play with more dice, you can easily replace the D6s so that everyone has them. And the reason to do that would be if you're sitting around a table as ours with 6 players all around it. It could be fairly useful, and everything does clean up quite nicely. These wipes work well. I'm hoping they last a long time. That'd be the only concern, but it's not something that you need to worry too much about because a little bit of paper towel does the same effect of cleaning the cards. And I mean, these cards have been played with multiple times and they're spotless. There's nice finish, other one, and they're thick, good quality cardboard. They've got the plastified finish, which isn't the best for the environment, but hey, it's what you need for this type of roll and write game. It's better than, taking pieces of paper and chucking them every time, because eventually you'd have to either buy more pads or start printing out stuff which uses ink. So less environmentally friendly, in my opinion. And I like these big dice, actually. I like the colors of them as well. Agree with Julie, the art is definitely a little blonde. I would have liked to have seen something a little nicer. I mean, there's a spaceship on here, which the spaceship's a reference to Tapestry, but that doesn't really come through. I think that would be the other complaint, is that not all of these games really have like the elements come through.
But I did I don't know all of the games, but Wingspan, I do like that part of it is, really part of what you do in the game. You score extra victory points when the points you accumulate are of the same wingspan.
Yeah, and I like that, but I also think it's a little bit... I don't love that necessarily, because I would like something that's a little bit more related to birds. I get that it's wingspan, so you're going with the specific wingspan, but I just don't feel like it works well with numbers, but it doesn't come through with the theme of the game. Now, I haven't played Size Beyond, trying a tutorial on the digital edition. I don't get this reference with Size, like take this one, get the other one. It's fun to use, but the theme doesn't come through for me. Charterstone and the Crates, the only thing I can think of is like the Legacy game. I thought Viticulture did a great job, as well as the Society, because of Red Rising, the stacking of everything, and Viticulture with the grapes. Euphoria, I haven't played the game, so it didn't come through to me. And Between Two Cities, I thought that was sort of a miss for me as well. Just, you can't place things orthogonally. I think Between Two Castles definitely came through. So there's different successes and different failings, but overall it was okay. What did you think about the resources and the way the resources work?
Well, the first game I really didn't focus on them enough, and I think it's definitely part of the strategy of the game. There's a couple of times I was like, yeah, I didn't do that. I could have done that better, or I didn't use my resources properly. So I think it definitely adds some strategy to it.
Yeah, I think the resources are the thing that's going to really distinguish this game for roll and write fans besides just the variety. These resources are very powerful. They let you do a lot. Getting an extra die, being able to slot that into, a third realm. So, essentially you can activate 3 realms on your turn instead of 2. That is a huge difference and something that you don't want to miss. But you got to be careful because you might build up too many resources and miss your best chance to get some really high scores, which is something that I've actually done often. And I think that's my biggest weakness when playing this game is I try to build for a bigger combo, and if I don't get the roll, then my combo all falls apart. So, it's a dice game. There's definitely going to be a lot of randomness, but you do still have a lot of control over your own destiny and what your final score is going to be. So I think this game does the roll and write genre justice. It does stuff well, but still not so in the genre. Maybe I'll find something that I like or I love to play eventually, but still just not a game for me.
So why don't I let you give your score first?
Well, I'm going to score this based on everything that it does well, and comparing this to Welcome to, since I like this more than Welcome to, and I think the game is solid. I'm not going to give this a failing grade, even though I don't like roll and writes right now, and I think the gentlemen over at Calvary, if they happen to listen to this review, are going to be shocked and writing comments like, you don't like roll and writes, since they played 50 roll and writes in a month. Yeah, I'm going to give this a 7. It's a solid game. I was, just to my personal enjoyment, I might score it a little lower. It's probably be like a 6.5. But in terms of a roll and write game that I've played, what it's trying to do, the game comes together very well. So I'm comfortable giving it a review score of a 7.
Yeah, I would give it a 7.5. I think it does things very well. I think, we didn't talk about it, but I think ages 14 and above is a little high. I think you could probably play it with younger players.
Not that much younger, though. There's a fair bit of math and strategy.
Yes, I was going to say, kids that understand strategy games who've been playing them can definitely play this game, I think.
But they got to like math. They got to be using numbers, adding things up.
I don't love math, and I still enjoy it.
No, but if you're talking about kids, there's a lot of numbers and a lot of fitting pieces together. So if they love numbers and problem solving, I'll agree with you. You can definitely get it to probably 10 or maybe even a little bit younger.
Yeah, and I'm going to put out there, I'm not a problem solver game type of, I problem solve in real life. I don't like it in games, but in this case, I don't really feel that that's what this is. I mean, there are games we've played that we really have to solve problems.
Yeah, it's sitting over there. I don't know if you can quite see it. There's CO2. That is a brain burner problem solving game.
This is not. I mean, this you can, I didn't put a whole lot of strategy and thought behind it, and I still beat Jason. So I think part of it is also just, not thinking too much. In any case, 7.5.
You like these type of synergies. It works well with the way your brain works. It's like me with strategy games. You don't like when I play the long game against you.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's part of what Jason was saying. You can't play the long game in this game because you don't know. Well, you can, but
it burned me. The first one, if I had a little bit better roll, my score would have been a lot closer to Julie. She kind of ran away with the game right off the bat. And actually, that is one criticism I didn't mention and probably why I still give it a 7. If someone's outscoring you significantly in the first 2 rounds, you're toast. Like, at least in a 2-player game, you can be out of it really quickly. Now, probably doesn't feel bad in a 6-player game, but in a 2-player game, it's really noticeable.
So now it's time to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when we have some new content for you.
And take a look down below in the video description. You'll find links to all of our social media feeds, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you'd like to see some pictures of Julie and I playing Rolling Realms, there'll be plenty on those feeds. Also, there's a link to multizone.ca down there, a great Canadian game store. Click that link, get 10% off your next purchase, and it's a great way to support the channel, as a portion of that purchase will be returned to us. So if you're looking for a copy of Rolling Realms, you should go check them out. And then popping up in front of us are going to be links to some of our previously released videos. Over here will be our most recent release, and in front of Julie, as she mentioned it, is it Wingspan? Is it Red Rising? It will be our review of Wingspan, or is it the Oceania expansion? Which one?
Surprise them.
I will surprise you, so you'll find out. Now it's time for us to grab our drinks, grab our best friend.
Okay, keep playing games.
playing games. And I'm sure we'll play this one. I mean, we hopefully will be hosting game night sometime in the near future.
At some point.
Yeah.